Hey, good morning, guys. We'll just give a few minutes for everybody to join. Thank you. All right, so let's get started. Good morning to all. Welcome to the Series 6. This is the final series of our data management webinar. Many thanks to everyone who were part of this entire series and making it really successful and fruitful. Today's session being the last in the series, we have made it more interesting and also more valuable, I guess. This webinar has all the ingredients of a collaborative solution that somebody is looking for from Salesforce. By collaborative, I mean, we are trying to give a solution that can help your Salesforce org with unlimited power of data and file. Yeah. So in that way, the webinar is very vital for anyone who is looking for a data and file strategy around Salesforce. And our objective is to give the best recommendation of the solution and also help future proofing your Salesforce needs. So before we get started, few housekeeping activities. Please do post in the chat if you have any questions during the webinar, during the discussion that we're going to have. We'll be answering the questions at the end of the webinar. It's a 30-minute session, and we'll have few minutes left in the at the end to have all your question and answers, looked into it. So let me introduce myself. I am Harish Kumar. I'm head of products, and joining with me today is Mr. Rakesh Rao, his head of sales. Hey, good morning, Rakesh, and welcome to the webinar.
Hi, Harish. Good morning. Thanks for having me. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Hope you will have a good session here and you will learn takeaway from here. So a lot of things. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks, Rakesh. So let's get started. So let's see what we're going to take away from this 30 minutes webinar. So we're going to start about with knowing the Salesforce resource. Start with the basic of understanding what Salesforce resource we have and how to really utilize those resources. And then we're going to talk about the strategy that somebody has to adapt for the storage, and we're talking about a long-term strategy and a few of the options and recommendation that we have been working with a lot of customers. We thought of providing those information as well, and then talking about an integrated approach, the data and file management strategy, and how we are going to collaborate these two, data and file, in a very integrated approaches. Not only we are going to showcase that, but also take you through a live demo on how we are going to really have those nitty-gritties of connecting the data as well as the file strategy that we have. So it's going to be an interesting demo as well. And finally, we are going to talk about the FMS, which is more about a strategic solution that we provide to our customers and how you can leverage this particular strategy that we have it. So let's get started. As I said, this is the series 6 of the webinar. We started this journey from on February 2020 with digital transformation of Salesforce as the start of the series. And then we went ahead with governance. We covered specific industries, use cases. Very interesting topics which we had implemented for our customers. Then we also talked about Service Cloud, which has been highly used by Salesforce for customers. So how that has been integrated. And then today we are going to talk about a key thing, which is not only data but also file, and how the collaboration can happen with this thing. All right. So let's get started with the basic thing. You all know that Salesforce instance, if we take it in a very high level, we talk about Salesforce apps. That's business users, whether it's a sales cloud, service cloud, financial cloud, health cloud, whatever solution that we use. These are the application which is being widely accepted by the industry and been using it. Not only Sales Cloud, Service Cloud are highly implemented by a lot of customers, but also Force.com platform has been really doing well with options for a custom application that can be built on the top of it as per the customer's business, and also leveraging the app exchange apps, like some of the already made apps that can be added as part of the business to get the better ROI from it. But if you see from both the aspects, whether it's a sales cloud, service cloud, at the end, all this is our data, and the data means there are two things of storage. It's one is a database, and second is the files. So all our data, but then files are different and database is different. So whenever your business is growing and you're able to get a better ROI, have a customer 360 kind of platform which is there, at the end you're all bringing the data from various system and putting it in the Salesforce instance. Now, do you have the capacity to hold this for the next 5 years? That's the question. And how is the current collaboration that you're doing with the files? So these questions we're going to answer it while, but then let's come back to a simple resourcing strategy what Salesforce provides. If you see from a professional to unlimited, the current editions, whatever editions we have, the standard default which Salesforce provides is a 10 GB for file storage and data storage. And for a professional customers, it might be pretty simple when you start off with Salesforce. But if you see from an enterprise and performance standpoint, when customers are using heavily with number of additional users, though Salesforce add additional storage with the number of users, but over a period of time, the data is something which just grows double. Every year it adds up, and then this just doubles, triples, and that is actually shooting up the your capacity and also the storage. Now, do you have a strategy on that? So that's one aspect. Second aspect is depending on the industry. Now if you see, various industries have a different way of consuming the data. Media industry consumes less of data, but then they have huge files that has been going back and forth when they use it. Even the volume of the file, each file itself is a bigger one. So media industry, we see a different pattern of the storage. Pharma and financial uses service cloud for their cases, for their tickets and everything. And if you see in that case, the data is something which piles up very file. The same way retail and telecom also, because cases are something which they have to cater to B2C kind of customer. So they have to actually work on multiple cases day by day, and that increases the data storage as well. So what does it indicates is every customer's needs are different in terms of data and file storage. So if in some cases it will take a year to analyze how the data is growing. In some cases, some customers the data growth is different. So it is very important that customers have two different approach, one for data and one for file management. You cannot have a standardized approach because both aspect is different. When you talk about data, it is all about the real data that it handles, and files are specifically all the files, multiple files that use as an attachment within the Salesforce, and how it is being managed. Right. When it comes to long-term strategy for all those things, it is important that you always have a 5-year plan, a minimum of 5-year plan, and then analyze the data. What are the archiving requirement that you can do? Which are the data that you don't utilize much? Understand the business requirement. Try to see what is your data security part of it. Do you want to keep the data for 5 years? Is that the compliances talks about? You need to understand, do you need to restore this data? All those aspects are covered on the data part of it. It has to be analyzed, understood, and then a strategy can be created on the data, on the management part of it. Likewise, for the file management, it is different, because data, once you know that at certain stage the data becomes inactive and then you don't need that data immediately, so that can be archived. But when it comes to file, it's a different ball game. You need to make sure that the files, if you don't have a strategy in a bigger way, this file is going to add up to your storages. It's going to go one day, you need to buy additional storages. So it is very important from our perspective saying that why don't we have a content management system? A centralized content management system is something where customers has to look forward, and then this centralized centralized content management system should be accessible from the Salesforce as well as their own platform ecosystem as well. And this is something, if they're able to achieve, then it will be a real strategy for the file, because files are something like a library. If you can keep it a library organized, it's going to be good. But otherwise, if you have multiple systems that you have, same files are being copied and same versions are being kept in different places, it's going to be a hell lot of file management issues. So to understand that, it is very important that planning a centralized content management system is very important. Now, coming to the options and recommendations, if you see, if your data management, when they have challenges with the data, what customers generally do is, hey, let us find a solution, or how to optimize our application. Is it possible that we delete some of the old cases that we have? That happens through manual delete, and sometimes you can just run certain process to do that. And sometimes if those things doesn't work and you still see that the data is growing, the option is to buy additional storage, right? So that again, it's a big cost. And very frequently you might need to just back up some certain old data. You might not be able to get those data back. Maybe sometimes you need to query and do it, but those are the general standard optimization technology customers do. Then when it comes to file management, is the same thing. It's very tough thing to say that, hey, my file is gone 90%. How to delete those files? So purging old files manually and doing to really make optimizing and taking the files out is a challenging aspect as well. The only option that customers always go also is for purchasing additional file storage. So if you see from a high level perspective, either you need to spend more money, or you need to implement a specific strategy, an archiving strategy, a collaboration strategy, if you really want to plan it. There is no easy way for you to say, hey, I can just do a little bit and then things will work out. If you have a real plan in place, this is going to work out. So what is the strategy that we generally recommend? If you see from a Salesforce perspective, if customers is very sensitive about the data and they don't want the data to be outside of the Salesforce ecosystem, Salesforce has this big object, which is a big data system, which is way cheaper than the data storage of Salesforce. So big object is something that can be utilized in a heavily, because it can hold terabytes and petabytes of data without any problem. So that solves your 5-year long-term perspective. In addition to that, if you have your own data ecosystem of Oracle server or SQL server, and you want to extend that for archiving, even that's a very good strategy where you can adapt it and you're bringing a separate ecosystem together. And how we're going to utilize it, that's something which we going forward I'm going to explain. But these are the options which can be looked out for data archiving. And for file collaboration, we talk about centralized file management. So it can be their own ecosystems, because a lot of customers use SharePoint, OneDrive for their own other businesses. So why can't you leverage that for Salesforce? So why can't you have this collaboration done with the same SharePoint that you have, or somebody might be using a S3 or Google Drive, something like that. So all this, if you're able to leverage it with the Salesforce, then that's what we call a solid file collaboration. So when you talk about the methodology and strategy, at the end, it all boils down to key things. One is, it is very important, whatever data archiving methodology you have, you need to have a seamless accessibility to this archived information. If you're able to achieve that, that's the check mark and say that, hey, that's a very good thing, because we are able to, get it whenever required. Second, it's very important when you're talking about the Salesforce data and file management strategy, it has to align with the Salesforce ecosystem, whether it's a Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Community Cloud, your own custom applications, or whether it is App Exchange applications. It doesn't matter. It has to work with everything. And then it has to go in parallel with the securities and roles and profiles of what you have set it up for those data within the Salesforce ecosystem. It has wherever the data goes, it has to follow the roles and hierarchy and who can access the data across wherever it is being kept. So, and as a collaboration, it has to integrate with Salesforce in a seamless way. So not only Salesforce, it should be able to integrate with your internal system plus any other external system that you have, so that you can bring into the collaboration. If these 5 important things are met, we say that you have a pretty good for data and file management strategy. So to explain more in detail rather than talking, I think we can go more in depth in terms of the demo, wherein we will talk about how the data can be managed, how it can be set up as archiving, and then how this entire collaboration works. And I think Rakesh would go deep dive into showcasing you certain features, how it can be implemented. So Rakesh, over to you.
Thank you, Harish. Thanks for beautifully explaining the data and file management strategy, right? So before I take you through a quick demo, I would just like to showcase a couple of things in terms of storage. So one is, if you look at Salesforce storage, you have 3 different types of storage. One is data, the other one is file, and the third one is big object storage. So how we can use big objects and leverage big objects to archive the data within the Salesforce ecosystem is something which we will look at. So to do that, so if you install a data archiver component in your Salesforce org, so then once you install it, so it is easy for you to set it up. So that means how you can set up data archiver for archiving the records. So to do that, so it is very simple. So you need to select an object. So in this case, I have selected an object called account, and under account, so you need to select different fields, index fields, right? So once you select that index fields, so you need to encrypt. So you can select encryption to keep the data encrypted even when it is archived. So for the purpose of security and those things, you can encrypt the data and keep it archived. So third thing is, you can also exclude some of the fields which you don't want to archive. Some of the fields which may not be necessary, doesn't have any data, so you can also exclude those fields, right? So then this is one of the thing which is important. So master child relationship. So you can also configure all the master child relationships. So while you are setting up the account for archiving. So done. So summary. So you will get everything here. So boom. So your entire archiving setup is done. So for this object called account. So how easy it is? So as easy as I shown you. So 3-4 simple clicks and you are ready, and set up you have set up an account for archiving. Set up an object for archiving. So now we have set up this. So how I can archive? So there are different ways to archive. So one is by scheduling this. So by scheduling an archiving job. So you can schedule an archiving job hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. So depending on your business needs, depending on your requirements, you can schedule the archiving. And second thing is, also you can filter by using SOSL and SOQL queries, and then you can archive. And the third thing is, so you can also trigger based archiving. You can set up triggers, and depending on that, so you will be able to archive. So now we have seen so how to set up, and one is how to set up. Second one is how to schedule an archiving policy, how to set up an archiving policy as well. So once you do that, so your archiving is done. So how can I find the archived record? So this is data archiver is only admin only tool. So when admin goes to he wants to see the data which is archived, so he can go to find, and under the object whatever he wants to look at, so he can go to find, and then all the archived records will be available here. So you can also preview. So by going to the preview, so you can see the archived record. So this is coming from the DA component. You can see that this is a DA component, and that means the data is actually moved into big objects. It is not present in the Salesforce storage. So this is actually coming from big objects, and you can find this under the live parent record. So you can ask me, if I want to bring the data back to the Salesforce system, how can I do it? What is the procedure? So for that, it is very simple. A simple click of a button, you can bring the data back to the Salesforce system, right? So now we talked about moving the data within the Salesforce ecosystem from your Salesforce storage to big objects, and keeping the data within the Salesforce ecosystem. Now you can ask me, so I have external storage already set up. So can I use external database to move the data to outside of Salesforce? Yes. That is where our data archive, data connectiva component comes into play. So using this data connectiva component, so you can move the data to any of your relation database. So that means, so from Salesforce storage, so you are moving the data to any of your relation database of your choice, right? So now we talked about moving the data, keeping the data within the Salesforce and moving the data outside of Salesforce for the archiving purpose. So what about files? Yeah, so we have a solution for that as well. So we have a component called Xfiles Pro. So using this Xfiles Pro component, so you can move the files outside of Salesforce, right? So the beauty of Xfiles Pro is that, so we have multiple providers. We work with multiple providers: Amazon S3, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, SharePoint, also on-premise solutions. So we work with multiple on-premise solutions as well. So for our discussion, I have taken Google Drive as a provider, and if I click manage here, so it takes me to the configuration. So I can configure, I have configured accounts and case in this case, and when I say submit, so the account and case will be configured for file movement, right? So now, so this is a Xfiles Pro component, so which you see within the case. So just by uploading, you can click here and upload the file, or drag and drop. So this is as easy as it is. So you can drag and drop the file, and then so the file will be moved out of Salesforce into a storage of your choice, in this case Google Drive. So this is there's another component called bidirectional component. So if you are using another tool, so or as a company you might be using multiple tools, so how can you collaborate? So we were talking about collaboration, so this is where it is. So you can drop the file here, and then this syncs with seamlessly with the Salesforce record which you have configured. So that means, so the Xfiles Pro brings the collaboration into picture. So you can collaborate with multiple tools, whatever your company is using, and then seamlessly collaborate files using Xfiles Pro component. So now, how can I see this? Where will I see this file? So that if you go to Google Drive, so you will be able to see the file, right? So this is a folder hierarchy. So this is completely customizable depending on your business needs. So however you want to, so you can customize. So not only this is just the tip of the iceberg. So there are multiple options, multiple customization opportunities which Xfiles Pro offers you. Using that, you can customize this tool according to your business process, right? So as I told you, so if you see this within the component, so what happens is, even though the file is moved out of the Salesforce, so there is a link which is left here. So if you click here, so you will be able to preview, download. So whatever the actions which you want to do on this file, so you can do. So what I'm trying to convey here is that, so the complete system is user friendly. For the end user, this is seamless. This gives a seamless experience, and they will never know, so whether it is coming from the Salesforce, or the file is coming from external storage which your admin has configured, right? So two things, we talked about data, we talked about file. So how is it collaborated? So can we use both the tool together? And then if we use the tool, so how does it work, right? So this is I shown you this record. So this is a case record, so which we have archived. So this is coming from a DA component. So if you see in here, so this is archived, right? So I go to related and see here, so the file and attachment are available here. So that means, in a way, so we are archiving the files as well as records, both together, right? So this is one of the solutions. So putting it together, if I want to talk about the complete overview of both the systems put together, so Data Archiva works with big objects seamlessly and helps you to archive within the Salesforce ecosystem, and Data Connectiva helps you to move the data to any of your relation database and helps you to archive in that, right? So the features and functionalities for both the product are same. So some of the features are auto scheduling. So you can set up the auto scheduler, and it keeps running, so you don't have to look at that how what is happening. So you will get a report, and so the archiving jobs are running automatically, right? So you can also set up custom archiving policies, so as I shown you. So you can define how you want to archive, so what you want to archive. So it is completely customizable according to your requirement. Yes, definitely data integrity. So yeah, the data is whether it is kept within the Salesforce or external Salesforce, integrity is maintained. It will also maintain the relationship with the child objects, so your data is never lost, and it is always has the relationship with the parent child thing, so that is never altered. So whenever you restore, so the relationship also comes back with it. So, and then some of the fields which you want to encrypt, so maybe sensitive data which you don't want to expose, so that also can be taken care, so using our encryption tool within the archiving activity, right? So as I told you, restoring, so it is just a simple click of a button. So you click the button, boom, data is back, and you can work on the data, right? So this is about archiving using data archiver and data connectiva. The second comes the file management. So file management, what I talked about is not just the moving the file from your Salesforce, and definitely this gives a lot of value in terms of ROI, in terms of cost saving. But that is just one part of the story. So the thing is that it will help you to collaborate with multiple systems. It will also help you to integrate with different storages, on premises or cloud storages. It acts data Xfiles Pro gives you an option to use your external storage as a content management system. So with this, you move the file outside, and you use the power of the storage as a content management system, right? And as I discussed with you, this is a highly customizable solution. So you can customize according to your business process, your use case, and Xfiles Pro supports everything, all of that, right? And yeah, the beauty of this is you might be you might be using different systems, but with this Xfiles Pro, so all systems can come together, and it helps as a collaborative tool, right? So to summarize all this, so with data archiver, data connectiva, and Xfiles Pro, so you can use the power of external storages and never have to look at the storage, whether it is data storage or file storage, anytime. So and it gives you a lot of ROI, not only in terms of the cost benefit, but the other benefits of the other external tools offer, right? So this is a quick overview of the complete solution what we have. So this we call it as data and file management solution put together. So everything put together, data and file management solution. I hope this is informative and useful for you guys. I would like to Harish to take it forward from here on. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Rakesh. It was a wonderful demo that you showed about the data archiver and also the file storage solution that the collaboration that you showcased through this quick timeline. So thank you so much for that. And yes, with our years of experience that we have with our customers, this is what we brought to the table for our customers, that how can we have an integrated approach wherein we are able to have data and file collaboration brought at one place, able to give security for the data as well as for the files. And also you have the capability of having unlimited storage, whether it's a data or files, and more importantly, cost savings. So with the immediate cost savings of 50 to 60% in the year one, and then gradually you will see it just adds up to the cost savings for more than 80 to 85% over the period of time. So that really makes the solution a very wired kind of solution that customers can look for. And that's what we're talking about, this DFMS, which Rakesh just informed that we have this strategic solution that we provide to our customers. It's a bundled solution, and it's more important part of this solution is we provide our expertise in giving you a better understanding of your data. Then we also look into your file storage needs and accordingly recommend the strategic solution. So, and this once you have the solution, it's going to help you in your CRM as a performance, as a good collaboration tool, and also keeps your storage under budget. So having said that, I'm going to quickly go through the final Q&A because we already reached our 30 minutes time. So we have 1 or 2 minutes left. So so I'm ready to open for questions. Okay, so we'll take one question now. Does archiving delete the data from Salesforce? Yes, it does delete the data from Salesforce and keeps in a different location, because archiving literally means taking the data from the Salesforce and moving to archive location. Um, uh, if I'm storing files externally, does it support all files? This means attachment, feed items, documents, and stuff like that. Yes, it does. We take care of the entire files, which is part of the Salesforce ecosystem. So if you have a attachment that's part of an account or case or anything, or any feed file item which is there, we ensure that all those things are considered as part of the collaboration with the external system. Yes. I have email to case integration, which means email attachment comes directly to Salesforce. Does the solution address that as well? Yes, anything that is integrated directly with the Salesforce, which comes as part of cases or emails and just resides in the Salesforce, can be integrated in such a way that it can be moved seamlessly in the background to any storage location that you have. To ensure that will ensure that you don't have to do manually, but then you can set up an automated process for that. All right, so great. So thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful time, and also please feel free to connect with us. We are available at contact@dataarchiver.com, as well as contact@expilespro.com. And thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.